First of all, I think from their perspective, you have to know your ideal customer profile really, really well, right? You have to really understand who you're targeting, who you're using for affiliate programs, right? It all needs to make sense if you're investing because, hey, it's an investment to participate on these social commerce. You have to really think about it strategically.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen, and I'm your host. And today we've got a very special guest, Yifat Baror, who is the co-founder and CMO and Chief Growth Officer at Osa Commerce. With almost 2 decades of experience in e-commerce, Yifat has consistently driven global growth for omnichannel retail. Her track record includes leading G2M strategy, brand building, and high growth teams. Yifat also founded and managed a multi-million-dollar retail business that distributed contemporary brands internationally. Yifat was awarded the SDCE Executive's 2022 and 2023 Woman in Supply Chain Award as well. And welcome to the podcast, Yifat.
Thank you, Arlen. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for that intro.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, definitely, excited to talk to you today. We're going to be talking about a particular area which I would say is really hot right now, which is social commerce, meaning the ability to do commerce directly through social platforms, because I think it's these days there's a lot of ways to make it happen, and especially with the rise of all of these new social platforms, it's just become another channel for e-commerce businesses to do business. But kind of before we dive deep into that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I've been in this e-com business for 20 years, and I started by having, as you said, a chain of retail stores. So we were really doing things in e-com before we really knew that it was e-com. So what you call today, even like digital newsletters and all these things and digital marketing, we were like tapping into it and trying to understand how to get engagement and how to make it work in that new era. And definitely the industry has changed so much. I then transitioned into working with a lot of international brands, bringing them into North America through different efforts. And really what I've seen is like the challenges of omnichannel and how those brands have difficulty really participating in multiple marketplaces and multiple sales channels. And that's how I got into supply chain. So today I am a co-founder of a SaaS company called Osa Commerce. And what we do is we really connect the dots for those brands in order for them to really participate and increase their revenue across different selling channels.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. So it sounds like you've been exposed to really all aspects of kind of the e-commerce world, as a retailer on the retail side, owning a business, doing business direct to consumer e-commerce, and then now, helping other businesses as far as helping them navigate through the tricky waters of supply chain, management and fulfillment and all of those things. And then of course, marketing as well. So, good stuff. So it seems like, you really are in a position based on your expertise and your experience to be able to really assist your customers, because you can.
Through pain points, right? Like you
Yes,
you go through it
exactly.
yourself, and then the ideas come of how to solve.
Right. Exactly, because you can not only talk the talk, you've actually walked the walk, and so you're very familiar with what has to be done, with everything. Now, considering your really kind of vast experiences, as I mentioned, in e-commerce, how do you see this like landscape of social commerce just evolving over these years, where, because I think consumer behavior has really shifted from these rise of the platforms of Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. How do you see this whole, I guess you can say, terminology of social commerce? How do you see
Yeah,
it
I
evolving?
think it's all about experiences, right?
Mhm.
When we had the physical stores, and going back to my background, it was all about how do you create an engaging experience for your customers and sort of have that customer journey, right, within the store. Remember how they used to position different things in certain ways right before
Mhm.
checkout so you can grab something
Yes.
else. So, and it continues to be that way. But I think what social media and social commerce has done is really through those experiences really to address us as potential customers to grab and click on that button and be a new adapter to what they're selling. And brands have a huge opportunity today on social media to basically reach customers all over the world, right, through these
Mhm.
experiences. And that's what end consumers are looking for. They're looking to be bought in to a brand identity, to see how they feel connected to it, and potentially click that button and then order whatever they're selling.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And what I see now, especially now more than ever, is that these social platforms have really embraced social commerce as far as enabling businesses to be able to do it with their own, through their own in-house platforms, like TikTok, for instance, where, they have their own built-in kind of shop that a brand can tie into, and then sell their products within there, where, years before now, things like that weren't really possible. And I think before, when social media really just started, and when Facebook and Instagram were really just starting at the very beginning, or, kind of midway through, when, they were adopting advertising and they were starting to do things to be attractive to businesses, it was still a little bit difficult for, as far as making the buyer's journey as smooth as possible, because it was still things you couldn't really do on their platform.
Sure.
So as a brand, you were, of course, marketing your business. You have messaging there. You're trying to sell your products and services, but the ultimate sale still had to be done on, the business's platform, on their own website. And so, as you know, and as most people are aware of, that, when somebody has to leave one platform and go to the next,
Absolutely.
there's no telling what's going to happen in that kind of
And
journey.
that's a super interesting part. First of all, social commerce is going to reach 100 billion by 2025. That's crazy,
Wow.
right? And
Yeah,
and
that
and
is.
you touched on something really important. Instagram tried to do it, right? You go on an
Yep.
influencer page, but you're redirected, right? You have to leave the environment of Instagram to go purchase something. What TikTok did
Mhm.
now with social commerce is, right, it all lives on the platform. And I have a kind of a funny story. I was flying back from a conference last week, and the guy sitting next to me was from TikTok, and he kind of said, "Hey,
Okay.
do you want to see? Do you want to see how it works?" Because I don't personally shop on TikTok, and I was kind of
Right.
blown away. Like, it's super easy. You see a
Mhm.
video of that affiliate, that influencer. It doesn't look like an ad. They're actually speaking to you within the video, and then
Mhm.
you click on it, and it takes you within the TikTok environment. You're not leaving that ecosystem to the purchase.
Mhm.
Super easy. Apple Pay. You don't, and then you scroll back to those live stories. You're not
Mhm.
that you can continue scrolling down. Nothing was disrupted, right? So when I think about
Yeah.
teenage kids, if we like it or not, that they're on this thing,
Mhm.
they
Right.
got TikTok got what they wanted, right? They stay within that
Yes.
environment. They're not distracted by anything else. They're just continuing to shop, engage, be part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the key thing, is keeping people there, not getting them distracted, and them not having to go elsewhere. And then, figure out, okay, they're offloaded into a different site, and then they got to figure out, all right, what were they doing before that, and they're going back. That process that you mentioned is really seamless, and I think most of these social platforms, I think, are going to be going that route, sooner than
And
later, for sure.
and it goes in marketing to where are we engaging our customers, right? It's the same thing as
Hmm.
well for B2B marketing. Like, are you thinking about where your customers are engaging, where they're spending their time, and are you trying to grab them as they're experiencing these platforms, right? So
Hmm.
in terms of TikTok, I think, yeah, they really found a way to get those users to stay and engage and have that experience. We were talking about experience.
Yeah.
I think gaming is also really interesting because think about all these young kids playing games. How is that going to play into social commerce?
Yeah.
Paxson, the brand Paxson, just announced that they're basically engaging their customers within the Roblox game.
Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs and B2B marketers. Before we dive back into the conversation, let me introduce you to a game changer in the lead generation arena, Lead Feeder. Now, we all know the struggle of identifying those elusive website visitors and turning them into valuable leads. But what if I told you there's a tool that not only promises but delivers on supercharging your lead generation and sales efforts? Enter Lead Feeder. Imagine having the power to identify companies visiting your website, track their behavior in real time, and seamlessly integrate it all with your CRM. Lead Feeder is not just a tool, it's your secret weapon for efficient and targeted lead engagement. What sets Lead Feeder apart? It's the ability to provide detailed insights into customer behavior, helping your sales team prioritize efforts and close deals faster. With customizable notifications, lead scoring, and GDPR compliance, Leadfeeder is changing the game. Ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Head over to leadfeeder.com for your free demo today. That's LEADFEEDER.com. Don't miss out on the future of successful lead generation with Leadfeeder. That's huge. Yeah, that's really huge. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Not only we have the social media, but then we have these games. And so, I mean, that brings on a whole nother element actually when you're thinking about games. And I'm not sure if we're fully there yet, but when we're talking about games and monetizing activities of people on the games, then we start seeing things that are now that are already been done or been done for years on in television and movies, which is product placement. And so I think we may start seeing that within games where you're going to have specific products integrated into the game where it's almost part of the game, where it's not like a blatant ad. And then you'll have, the users somehow, interacting with that, or getting some information about that where they don't even think anything of it, but yet they've been exposed to a particular brand. They may not even realize it. And I think probably initially I see something like that being more as a helping with brand awareness. They have to probably work out all the intricacies of the commerce part of it,
Yeah,
getting somebody from within the game to then purchasing, because
but
of course if somebody's playing, then there could be a disruption there.
today there are technologies to support that, to connect everything, right? It's a matter of
Right.
just doing it right. The technology is there. So you can connect
Yep.
actually through a game to buy that Nike pair of shoes or discover
Hmm.
that beauty brand, again, that experience. But then
Yep.
brands really need to think about how they're mitigating the risk, right? Because when you
Yeah.
put that effort on the front end about the experience, how to get the customer to engage with the discovery on social media, there's a true
Hmm.
risk from the back end. And I'm taking it to my world supply chain, right? How is that product really getting to the customer door? Is it seamless? Is it connected to the entire social commerce ecosystem?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's kind of the main thing there. With the rise of all of this social commerce, brands that are listening to this are going to be like, okay, yeah, I got to get on the ball. I got to get on board with this. I don't want to be left behind. So, what would you say are some key strategies that you say would be crucial for brands to successfully integrate, their e-commerce efforts with these social media platforms? And is it going to differ depending on the platform?
First of all, I think from their perspective, you have to know your ideal customer profile really, really well, right? You have to
Sure.
really understand who you're targeting, who you're using for affiliate programs, right? All needs to make sense if you're investing because, hey, it's an investment to participate on these social commerce. You have to really think
Right.
about it strategically. The other thing I would encourage you, even small brands, have a strong technology partner to help you again with the back end because the end of the day brands put so much time on the front end and marketing they lose track of what's happening. And I can give you an example. My daughter ordered something from a really cool D2C brand on social commerce actually, on
Okay.
TikTok. She discovered it on TikTok. She bought it. It's a known semi-known D2C brand. And what happened was it took like 2 months for the product to arrive. There was no
Oh,
real-time
wow.
tracking. The process, the
Yeah.
customer journey was completely broken. The product journey was completely broken. And what ended up happening, she got the product. She loved it, but she said, and this is a 16-year-old girl, she said, I am never ordering from this brand directly. I will buy
Right.
them at Sephora because they're selling at Sephora. So think from a
Okay.
brand marketing perspective, they spent so much money to get this customer, right? To engage with
Yes.
them. And then they lost the customer. Yeah, she'll still buy the brand, but not directly. She has no
Yeah.
affiliation with them as a brand anymore. And I think
Mhm.
that's a true risk.
Yeah, that definitely is, and that's interesting that you mentioned that because I've kind of I'm we were talking at the beginning, I'm dating myself, but our business was founded in the year 2000, so I've been in this game for the industry for a
Amazing.
long time, and so I'm kind of, I guess you could say, old school, and so I'm when I'm on social media and I get these ads or I get these Instagram reels of different advertising. I don't know. I'm unless it's a brand that I'm really really familiar with. I'm a little bit leery because of experiences like what you mentioned of your daughter, and then waiting on the shipping. Can I track it? So a lot of times what I'll do, and I don't know if other people do this as well, which I think is why before a brand kind of gets a presence as far as giving the ability to sell online, they have got to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible as far as tracking, shipping guarantees, ease of returns. Because, and I've talked to other people about it, a lot of what I do and I've seen other people do is, especially if it's a new brand and they see your social ad, what they may do is they'll look at the ad, and this may or may not hurt the brand per se. It could still help them, but a lot of times what I'll do and others will do is they'll look that brand up on Amazon and see, okay, is the brand on Amazon?
2 day
I'm
shipping. Yeah.
exactly 2 day or next day shipping. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And I've done that a few times. A few times I've kind of looked for products and I haven't found them there. So I think that's something that I think brands still need to consider.
They lose the customer engagement that way and they lose their margin because think about when they're
Yeah,
selling on Amazon, Amazon takes a chunk out of them, their brand.
very true.
So
Very true.
there's a true risk. That's why I'm saying, even if you're a small brand, when you're going this route, you have to
Yeah.
invest in technologies that can support you, that have your back in the back end.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like you said, that's a risk. They may be getting a sale even if they have a presence on Amazon, but like you said,
Yeah.
the percentage and the margin that they're going to take away from that is going to be, not of course as much as if they got that sale directly.
And
So
Arlen, you were talking about the ads that we see. Like we all see them all day. I think I saw a stat that we see over 10,000 ads a day on social media
yeah,
without even know 10,000. That's a
wow,
crazy number. I mean,
that
so
is,
again, brands should really, when you're investing money in these things, know your customer really, really well. So the targeting
mhm,
is on point. So you're not wasting valuable dollars on the wrong crowd, right? Because think about how
mhm.
much we see. It needs to be really relevant to us. I see so many ads that obviously I'm not going to click on.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You can kind of tell right away that, you're a bit leery. Now, with all of the experiences that you've had in your current journey, with what you're doing on the supply chain end of things, what have you seen as some of the most significant challenges that you faced leveraging social commerce to grow a brand? And, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think for us, our specific business in B2B, our crowd, our ideal customer profile is a little bit more traditional. So we don't
Right.
really target them on TikTok and Instagram so much. Our main platform in social is LinkedIn. That's been really resonating, and maybe Facebook, but
Mhm.
mostly through LinkedIn. So it's a little bit different, but I have a lot of customers in our portfolio who obviously are working this day and night, and we support them from the back end to ensure
Okay.
that if an influencer now is promoting their product on Instagram and there's a peak in sales, everything is integrated to the flow of the inventory and they can fulfill that promise to the customer. So that's where we
Mhm.
come in to really ensure that whatever they're doing on their social commerce um, is really functioning and that the product journey is not broken for them.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, that's really key. That journey, and you mentioned it not being broken,
Yeah.
because
And
there's a lot of things that can kind of slip through,
yeah, and I can give you
slip
an
through the crack.
example of a really interesting customer. We have a customer that's called Expo Bazaar. They're a marketplace actually in India that they sell a lot of artisans. So they're very active on social media as well to connect all these artisans into one platform, right? So now
Mhm.
some artist somewhere in India is selling amazing bracelets. It's easy for them to connect to a customer in the US and just sell it right away, no friction, right? That again,
Yeah.
seamless experience. So we basically
Yeah.
support them to ensure that that is happening and that they can sell wherever their customer is in the world.
Right, right. That's awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Now, technology, as we all know, has really, I think, just within the past 2 years, it just seems like things have just skyrocketed. I mean, to a level like, no other.
Yeah.
There's so many emerging technologies, from AI to AR, augmented reality, and VR with, the Apple Vision Pro, all of these things that are coming into play. How do you see all of these technologies impacting the future of social commerce?
Yeah.
And what are any specific innovations are you excited
I think
about?
first of all, we all have a little bit of ADHD now with all these technologies. It's really, really hard.
Right.
It's like, how do you know
Yeah.
what's right for you? I
Right.
feel for young brands that need to figure out what's the best thing for them to use. The one thing I would say is like really do your research and where you're choosing technologies, talk to similar mentors and other brands and have them recommend what's worked and not worked because it's really important to have those conversations. There's so much
Right.
out there. Even in a marketing role, think about how many technologies a CMO now is exposed to that he needs to pick and choose for
Yes.
their business. It's really challenging. Um,
Mhm.
so I think first of all, doing that research, having those conversations, and in terms of AI for brands, I think it's phenomenal. I think there's a lot of things you can utilize today. To enhance your team. It can be like a supportive tool, like if you're writing a piece, if you need more content. But I would be very careful in just relying on that. I think what we're seeing, and I'm sure Arlen, you see the same thing, is people using AI, copy paste. You lose the copy
Mhm.
creativity. You sort of like
Mhm.
recognize the same words appearing again and again. And
Yeah.
that's also a risk on brands. You're losing your voice. So I mean, use it as a tool to enhance your capabilities, but I
Mhm.
would not use it today as a creative tool. I would not use it to as a way of being my voice in a brand.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's great to be used as an enhancement for creative idea. Well, an enhancement also, it's also great for brainstorming
Yeah,
and doing a kind of a mass amount of research in a short amount of time.
exactly.
Market research as well, and gathering statistics. All of those things
Yeah,
are, literally can be spit back to you just in seconds. Where before AI, we were just kind of reliant on Google and other search engines, and we kind of had to do our own digging, our own research. Everything is now consolidated and provided to us in just a clear, concise manner. And I think, yeah, as a brand, definitely want to take advantage of that when you're doing your research, you're doing your competitive market analysis, and all of those things, because it can really help out for sure.
especially for small teams who don't have the resources, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. Now, in fact, you've been recognized with the CDCE's Executive Women's Supply Chain Award for 2 consecutive years, and with that, what key insights or lessons would you like to share for an aspiring female leader in the e-commerce and supply chain industries.
First of all, it's always a great honor, and the women that were nominated as well are really inspiring, and it's always amazing to be part of that. I
Mhm.
think it's that network, right? You have to have strong leaders around you that support your success, people that you can go to with no like hidden agenda, that really are cheering for you. And then be open to learning and listening and finding new ways to do things. And that network has been really valuable to me. It's not just women leaders who support others, it's also your male counterparts that, push you forward. And I was really lucky to have a lot of those in my career, honestly. And ask for help. Like, don't be shy
Mhm.
about it. We don't need to know everything. It's okay to come and say,
Right.
hey, I need some advice. What would you do in a situation like this? And I think if you're open, authentic, and you ask other people who are authentic as well, it pays off.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for those words. As we get ready to wrap things up, looking ahead, I'm always interested in trends and developments for the future. And talking to experts like yourself, I'm sure you've kind of have a clue. Nobody has a crystal ball, of course,
Yeah,
but I know you have some insight into different things that are coming up. So I would
yeah.
say, what trends or developments would you predict that are going to shape the future of social commerce in the next maybe 5, 10 years? And then how should brands prepare for these coming changes?
I think that what we're going to see is more and more of that, like we're seeing on TikTok and that engagement. I think that with the Gen Z being so vocal on how they shop, it's really different than probably my generation and how we got excited about Amazon. They're looking at it in a different way. And brands are going to have to really understand what's triggering to that generation. They're on the phone. Again, we said like so much stimulation, right? So much going on.
Mhm.
How do you make sure you're getting their attention span, and how do you make them stay with you like for the long run, not just for that one-time purchase? And I think that's the challenge. I think brands are going to have a lot more conversation with their ICP to understand
Mhm.
what's triggering to them. And
Yeah.
technologies to support. I really think that the future is not just the front end. Like they have to be thinking about the full experience here.
Yeah, yeah, that is for sure. Like you said, not just the front end, because of course the front end is where you're getting that customer,
Exactly.
their kind of onboarding process into your funnel, and then from there, you definitely want to leverage technology as far as moving people from various areas of your funnel, whether that's through your email marketing list or campaigns, whether it's your text messaging, your SMS campaigns, standard mail, if you're doing any of that,
Yeah.
depending on the brand that you're in or the industry that you're in, if that's still applicable. So yeah, there's a lot of things on that, the journey from that front door all the way through to checkout. That, yeah, there's a lot of technology things that
Yeah.
are that can be utilized to really help you out.
And I
And
and I think, by the way, with Gen Z, resale market on these social commerce is going to, it's already picking up. There's a lot of
yeah.
companies like Lululemon who are doing like renew,
Hmm.
reselling from individuals selling their used clothes. I think with this
Right.
generation, you're going to see a lot more of that on social commerce.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but I think you're right with this current generation, this Generation Z. Yeah, they're a lot of them. They're conscious about the environment. They're conscious about the sustainability of the planet, and so I know a lot of Gen Zers are there also in the retail side of it. A lot of people that are fashion conscious. They're going to these thrift shops. They're going to a lot of these secondhand places to try to, find things that are, unique and that kind of have that, worn look, because that's kind of a thing now. And so I can see brands, trying to adopt that and making it easy for people to do that within their own platform. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, this has been an awesome conversation, Yifat. I really
Thanks,
appreciate you
Arlen.
coming on. I definitely know our listeners and viewers have gotten a lot out of this. Lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to shift gears just a little bit, just so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing just a closing fun fact about yourself that you think we would be interested to know?
Fun fact, I am a big believer in like letting your mind rest. That
Okay.
when someone that I know you said to me, busy is the new stupid, that really resonated with me, and I encourage people to
Gotcha.
take time. I meditate. I try to meditate
Okay.
every day for even for 5 minutes if that's what I
Mhm.
feel. But that really has shifted my ability to go about my day in a better way. So I
All right.
really recommend
That's
that.
gotcha. That's awesome. And I hadn't heard that phrase before. Busy is the new
Yeah, I
stupid.
love that.
And I think you're right because it's especially this day and age where we're all kind of bombarded with just so much information, so many things going on in the world where it's like never before. We never were at a point we can literally everything, every kind of major thing going on in the whole world, we can really be exposed to in just a short amount of time on a daily basis, on a repetitive basis. And all of that, I think our minds really weren't built to be able to manage that. And like you said, practices like meditation and stepping away, unplugging, taking a walk,
Yeah,
which I'm getting ready to do actually after this recording.
good for you.
I'm here in Orlando, Florida. It's pretty nice today here, so I try to get out as much as possible. So I totally agree with you. You definitely have to unplug and
And that's what gets you your creativity, right? When you do that, you take a walk, you get
yep,
creative, you're able to fuel back to your practice, to your work, whatever,
mhm,
your family. We all work
exactly,
too hard. We need to
yeah,
take that time. It's
exactly,
very important to remember.
for sure. For sure. It's easier said than done because, there's so much to do. So a lot of times, I know me and I know a lot of other business owners, the tendency is to just keep our head down and just say, I got to get this done. I
Yeah.
got to get all this done.
But that's
I
when
got to
you
meet
tell
these
yourself,
goals.
that's when you tell yourself,
Yeah.
by me taking and stepping away, my
Yeah.
creativity and my abilities go up. And once you know
Right.
that, it fuels even the business and the work. And we all need these reminders. This is why I make a point of
Yeah.
saying it, because I know how it can get, and it's very
Yeah.
important to remember to take that minute
Yeah.
for yourself.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you for sharing that, Yifat. I really appreciate that. Lastly, before we do let you go, if our listeners and viewers want to reach out to you and pick your brain any more about social commerce, supply chain management, or anything under that sun, what would be the best way for them to reach you?
LinkedIn, Yifat Baror on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm very active there. And our page, osacommerce.com, our website. If we can
Okay.
help you
Awesome.
out, we will.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll definitely have the link to your website in the show notes, and we'll reference your LinkedIn page as well, so people can link up with you and check you out and see how you can help their businesses. Well, this has been an awesome conversation, Yifat. We really appreciate having you on the e-commerce marketing podcast.
Thank you so much, Arlen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the e-commerce marketing podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.